playing around with your mixer.
Yes.
Anyways,
Anyways. Who's doing the intro? Are you doing the intro?
well, I did the intro last week, but I mean,
Okay,
feel
fine, I'll do
free.
it.
Yeah, go
Whatever.
ahead.
Are we ready? Did you
We're
push the button?
ready.
We're ready, but am I?
Yeah,
Hello,
but I should
everyone,
tell
and
you.
welcome to this week of the Message Center show live with Daniel and Darrell. Today, we're
Ooh.
going to be talking a lot about teams and a really cool feature with publishing doing a comm site as your root in SharePoint online. So join us and jump into the chat.
All right. Well, hey, good morning, good evening, good night, good now to you, 365 Message Center. Waha.
Wow!
I know, Daniel. I'm
I've had coffee.
I'm not grumpy. I'm not grumpy.
Uh-huh.
I thought, look, you
Uh-huh.
dashing out, half an hour before the show to get your coffee.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't had mine yet. I've got up. I've taken some time to freshen up. Put on my new favorite SharePoint Satya Day T-shirt, which I thought was
Okay.
brilliant by Carabiner. There you go. Yep, that's and
So we're
I'm
doing
fresh as a
promos now?
daisy. I can get by without coffee. What about you?
Nope. I haven't had coffee in 3 days, so
Whoa,
um,
is that
yeah.
why we
See,
didn't see them on the Instagram? Because you usually take a picture of your coffees.
no. Okay, let's not give the false impression that that's what I do. Occasionally, when I have a latte and it's beautiful, I will take a picture and say, "Ooh, look at this." But
Hmm.
and so no, I haven't had coffee all weekend, so I went for a coffee and I decided to get an iced coffee, so that's what I'm drinking.
All right. Well, while you're sipping, we'll say good now to Suzanne Hunt, Phil
Hmm.
Laurel, Dean Gross, Sandy Usia, and other people that are not chatting. But
Oh,
yeah, well,
what?
thank you for joining us. I know it happens. People get a little chat shy, but that's okay. We do have a few things to get through. A couple of major updates, which we'll address as we go. But those major updates we'll call out at the beginning of the show before we minimize team sharing file links with permissions. And updated feature, the Teams chat group size raises to 100. But let's get that big blocky major updates thing out of the way. Do you see these things when they come in via email, Daniel?
I do, yes.
Yeah.
I have many tenants. I'm not going to count that I get emails about
Yeah.
when they come through. So I see them multiple times.
Yeah. It's helpful to get those reminders. Those emails do help, and
Yep.
just to call out a method you might be using, and if you're not, do so, is to send that through to a distribution group or potentially to the email address
Yep.
of a Microsoft Team channel. Good way to bring it all in to share that with other people that might not be sysadmins in the
Well,
Office
don't give away
365.
all of the secrets, Darrell, because I'm actually doing my next presentation is keeping up with change in Office 365. So don't give away all of the secrets of how to keep up with things going on, because people need to come to my session to actually hear those. So
And where is that session?
that is a SharePoint conference
All right.
next week, actually. SharePoint conference in Las Vegas, Nevada.
Yep. Now we have to also work out between us how we'll do that show
Hmm.
and bring it to you live from SharePoint conference in Las Vegas. All right. Moving
the
right
pool,
along,
maybe.
we have the OneDrive new, or rather sync client get help feature.
Mhm.
And look, when I read some of these, I before I even get too much into the detail, I think, all right, is this going to really be a feature? Is this really going to be something we need to announce? When I read into it, I wondered, what did you think? What is this announcing?
This is just announcing there's going to be a link next to the give feedback in your client, in the OneDrive sync client. Give feedback is still that you just want to tell Microsoft something.
Mm-hmm.
Say this was good or bad. The get help is going to be a link to where users can create tickets with Microsoft and get assistance for an issue.
All right. Do you want to see
Is
it?
it? Let's do it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you won't see it because I'm going to put it up over your face because that's my primary screen right there. I know. I know. Yep. No, let's do it. Let's do it. Whoop. Here's Daniel. He's beside my start menu, and we'll give him full screen. There we go. Say hello to the start menu, Daniel. Look to your
Hello.
right. Yep. Very good. All right. Now look to the bottom left corner and point to it. All right. There's our OneDrive. We've got a number of drives that I'm connected to. All right. And here we go. There's our OneDrive, or at least, what do they call this one? The OneDrive Message Center or something? I forget what it's called. Click on into more. And then this is what we see now. Get help. Get help. So you keep scratching your head. As I put get help, we now block out Daniel's face because we want help. We don't need Daniel's face. And we can contact support by describing this issue here, right here on Daniel's face. The issue is not Daniel's face. Maybe we have an issue with OneDrive, so we might want to reach out to Microsoft Direct. Now, that's enough of that. All right, that's enough of that. Let's get back to...
I agree. That's enough of that.
Stop the tomfoolery. But what's the goal here with having help that you can ask directly?
Well, this is, I think, for some organizations, this would be fantastic because instead of opening up or calling, probably, for small and medium businesses, I pick up the phone and call the lady or gentleman that I know that's in IT that can help me with this, right?
Yep.
Interrupt whatever they were doing or go walk to their desk and pull them back to my desk. This is a way for me to actually get help from people who actually that's their job. So this definitely could be something that I think would be a good feature. For larger enterprises, I'm not sure we want or maybe even medium size, but I'm not sure we want our users to go create tickets with Microsoft. So
that's the key thing.
Yeah, so there's a way to disable that, and we could talk about that in a second. But going back to your original question, which I was thinking you were saying, does this message belong in the message center? And I think that's where you're going. And my answer is going to be no. I don't think this belongs in the message center because this is it's just another way to get help. But I'm kind of on the fence, not on the fence, but I'm looking at the fence.
All right, well, let's pause you there. Yes, my first inclination was, why is this here? It's just a change to an interface, and look, we can get help, right? But I want to encourage you, people who are looking at this message center regularly, sometimes we have to read a bit closer and slow down, because as we began to discuss, the implications of this is the first time I've seen where Microsoft are allowing people, end users, to log tickets that are attached to our organization for them to get individual help. This is, I'm assuming, the flow here, but that's what it feels like. And if I want help with my sync client, shouldn't my support people know about this?
Yes, I don't know that that's what this is because we don't have details. We're not given that much detail on what exactly this is and how this flow works. And is this creating a ticket in the regular ticketing queue that an admin would do? That's a good question. Or is this creating a ticket somewhere, some other way where it's tied to their email address so they can have communication, but it's not your official... this is more like a consumer ticket rather than an enterprise ticket. I don't know, but I think you're right. So when I was saying about looking at the fence, I'm not on the fence, but I'm looking at it, is that point right there is if it does create an enterprise ticket, meaning same place where the admin creates a ticket, then that's problematic. And could be, because what if you got thousands and thousands of users and even 10% of them create a ticket through the OneDrive sync client? That's hundreds of tickets that get created. Now, number one, there's an educational opportunity there. But number two, how do you manage all of that? And now you got Microsoft talking directly to all of your users and
Yep.
maybe asking them to do something that they're not supposed to.
Yep.
Oh, go and try to enable this and that's
Yeah, no,
against
sorry, we
policy.
don't have that on in our environment, but I don't have the words to describe that to you because I'm just an end user.
Right. So
Yeah,
I'm looking at
and
the
look,
fence there.
that's the implication, or
Yep.
the things that we have to think through.
Hmm.
I find it interesting that they're starting this one with OneDrive, and that it's not about giving feedback, but it really is about getting help. We don't know what this looks like. Now I've
Nope.
brought up on screen here the additional information. It takes you through to
The very
the
helpful
page that
issues.
lists the most recent updates and what was in it, and of course it lists this very update, new feature gradually rolling out to users that you can get help from the Activity Center,
Yeah.
that's what it's called, and you can create a support ticket. We are hoping, of course, that it isn't going to create a ticket within our admin view of things, because look, if there was an AD outage like there has been a few times over the last year,
Right.
and of course that's going to affect other things that we sign into,
Yep.
could
right.
you end up with 100 tickets there for OneDrive?
Or
'Cause
more.
people,
Well,
yeah.
a ticket per user. I mean, that's worst case scenario. Or actually, worst case scenario is they open up 3 because
Yep.
they say get help and then it didn't resolve, and they do it again and they do it
Yep.
again and they do it again. So anyway,
So what we're highlighting there is that it could be quite a change to your support workflow. So be mindful of that, and you may actually, I'm going to suggest it, that you do take the option to turn it off until you get more detail. Because this is a bit poor, this one. Where is this going? Am I handing off support on something that I should have visibility of? And look, even as a support / change manager, I want to have visibility of what's going on here so that I can potentially remedy this. Does this person need some additional training or stories behind it,
And we were able to change the help in SharePoint online, right?
Yeah.
To be able to give a little better, basically inserting yourself in the middle of the help process.
Yeah.
So that when someone said get help, you could take them to a SharePoint site that gives them, tips and tricks and all of that. And I feel like that's what this should do too. I really do. I feel like this get help should take you to that you've already set up, maybe, or maybe not. But I mean, if you have, definitely take you to that. But to create again, we're hypothesizing because we don't really know.
Yep. Nice to know that it's coming, but we don't have enough detail.
That's right.
Yeah, but we'll move along. Maybe we'll return to this when we get a bit more detail. Something that I've been reflecting on a bit recently too, Daniel, the way that updates are delivered now, they really are ahead of time, but the downside to this is if we don't get this extra information, then we really don't know how to prepare for it. We get just enough to know there's going to be a change.
And that's the whole process of managing change is different now. I had this conversation in DC the other week with several people. We were talking about this whole thing about you change management used to be a project, or that's the way people thought it was. Now, whether it was the right way or wrong way, but that's what people thought it was. You rolled out a new product. You, as part of that process, hopefully you thought about change management. You help people understand the changes and how their processes need to be updated, and then you finished because there was no updates. Now we're rolling out updates so fast that change management can't be a project. And it really, if you're not doing it on an ongoing basis and keeping track of what's coming, then you're going to be blindsided by a lot of the stuff that is going to, just like this one, creating a bunch of tickets that you don't even know about. So anyway.
Yep. Yeah, and I've enjoyed the show and the series that Sarah and yourself have discussed issues like that. So do check that out. I'll probably drop it into the information in the top right-hand corner after the show, because we can't do that live. But anyway. Next update.
Yes.
Is also quite an interesting one. New feature, the enabling of modern communication site experience at the classic root site of your tenant. Hotly requested feature, but you've looked at this closely, haven't you?
Yeah, so looked at it for a little bit. Now able to talk about it.
Yeah.
The interesting part here is, well, people have been asking for this a long time, right? As soon as we got communication sites, it was, oh, this is fantastic. I want it to be my intranet. Okay, great. Create a new site. No, I want it to be my root, which the root site is the site that you get automatically with any SharePoint. If you have SharePoint licensed as part of your Office 365, they
Mm-hmm.
create that site for you. So it's whatever your tenant name.sharepoint.com. So people said, I want to turn that into a communication site, or delete that and create a communication site. There's been some workarounds to do that, and it's had their drawbacks to doing that. Now it's fully supported to turn your root site that is automatically created for you as part of the provisioning process
Mm-hmm.
into a communications site.
All right.
Um,
So
so
we can make our root site look gorgeous, and it's manageable on the modern way. What are the drawbacks?
unless, unless, um,
Yes.
so if you click the additional information there,
All right.
it's good to highlight the unless parts.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
So first of all, it's a PowerShell thing to make it work,
yep,
right?
that's
Which
right,
is not
and
a
it's only on.
downside. It looks like it's
No, it's
just
not.
a command.
Yep, and it's only on your root, so don't try this on any other classic site collections. It's only on the root.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but number two and number three there can in the current limitations,
Oh
and
yeah.
I'll come back to that in a second, are basically the same thing ish. Basically, you could never have you could you have had the publishing features enabled on this route.
All right. Well,
So
let's stop there. What would most organizations do with their front page or their front site?
see, and that's the thing is that most of the time, and I'm going to say, 75%, and as you know, 83% of all statistics are made up on the spot, but um,
Really?
75% of my
84 now, I think.
clients, oh, rats, 75% of my clients, one of the first things they do is, oh, I have this site because it was created for me, and I want to enable basically what we have now is news. I want to do some announcement. I want to do a lot of
Mm.
publishing things, and so they turn on the publishing infrastructure and enable the publishing feature on the site.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the first things they do to start making it look pretty. Um, and here we are now, however long we have has passed now, it's okay, great, you could turn it into a communication site, but if you've ever turned on that feature, you can't do this. And the reason why is when you turn on that feature, not only does it create some libraries for you that you can see, but it also does some things you can't see and you can't
Uh,
remove and you can't update. And so once you turn on that feature, you really have done some things under the covers and that's an interesting phrase. You've really done some things in the guts of the product that
yeah.
can't be undone right now. So as of right now, and I said I'd come back to this current limitations. As of right now, if you've ever turned on publishing, you can't do this. And of
Right.
course, number two
And
is
would you be able to turn publishing on afterwards? Because certainly at the front page, you do want to have more control of the flow of news and content that's
well,
going
but
there.
you
It's
would
got
get
to be
that with the
checked over.
communications side. I mean, you're going
Yep.
to get that, that modern functionality. So are you going to want to turn on publishing afterwards? Probably not, but maybe I don't know. Depends.
But you will have a
Um,
publishing mechanism.
well, you're going to have the news functionality,
Mm-hmm.
that you would have which is creating pages, right?
Yep.
So you can turn on approvals and all that on your pages library, just like you
Yeah.
could when you're publishing. So this is a major drawback. Sorry, but
Mm.
there's nothing we can do right now. Um, I will say there's been great consternation about, hey, this is bad because a lot of people, maybe even a majority of people, have turned this on.
Yeah.
So
At
is this the
some
final?
point.
At some
Yeah.
point, is this a final thing? I wouldn't say it's the final. It's the current limitation.
Mm. Yep. Yep. Good point. All right, but yeah, the other thing that I'd say about this too, is that when you do get into it and you're trying things out,
Mhm.
you might find various different things in the troubleshooting section. Of course, I wanted to try this out, get it going, check it out, and the one
Mhm.
that you will see if it's not in your tenant yet is feature is not yet enabled. The error message looks requested operation as part of an experimental feature that is not supported in the current environment.
Yep.
Experimental. But yes,
Experimental.
do check out that additional information, and here's
Hmm.
hoping that you're in a state that you can try this out. All right, we can now create SharePoint lists from Excel or other lists.
Yep.
Another thing that hasn't quite landed yet, because I think the message down here said, no, it's in the blog post. It's
Yeah.
being rolled out mid to late May. Oh, there it is,
Right.
mid-May,
Yep.
rollout completed by
And
end of
it's
July.
it's this is something that, I mean, they've released blog posts about this and just like you said about it and everything. So it's coming.
And that's where the additional
Um,
information goes to. So let's
yeah.
open that up.
Um, but Darrell,
Mm.
have you ever created a SharePoint list using Excel before?
Sure, that's not something new.
No, it's not. It's not new.
No, it's well,
Um,
it's good that it's coming to modern, but yeah, I've done that.
Correct. Yeah. So this is stuff we used to be able to do.
Yep.
So both of this, because remember we used to in Classic you can save a list as a template
Mm.
and then create another list based on that template. This is not that, but this is saying look at this list and basically create another list like that.
Mm.
But we've been able to do both of this functionality before. Now we're just bringing it into modern and with a little bit of a twist. I actually like the not having to save a site as a template and then creating from that. There's reasons why you might want to do that in the Classic, and I get that, but I like saying, oh, point at this list, create it, go. I like that.
Yep.
And oh, I don't remember what's in the blog post. Can you scroll down
Well,
before I
I've
say
got it
something
here,
else?
and
I
like
know I'm looking at
the
it.
first thing you'll see too is that it's a different creating list experience. It's not just a
Yes,
side panel that opens up.
but it doesn't have any other information. Okay, I don't
List
know.
from
I can
Excel. Next
see.
steps. That's about it.
I don't know what
Oh,
I
but
can
the
say.
difference
So,
between the
yeah,
two though, when you
yeah,
create a list from another list, you just get in the structure. When you're creating a list from an Excel spreadsheet, it's bringing in the data and the structure.
yeah,
Yeah, key
yeah.
difference. Yep, good to see that. We've got a few messages to get through, so
Hmm?
perhaps we'll just leave that for more details for
Yeah,
another
I think we're
time.
done with that one. Yeah, we get into the
We
Teams
have,
updates though. There's
yeah,
some quick ones here.
some quick ones, and like while this is a general availability and a major update, that you can now have a chat with up to 100 people in the chat area of Teams. Um, some have
Okay.
said like if you're having a chat with 100 people, yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
you, you might have some other issues.
yeah, yeah, that's right.
um, it could be difficult because I mean that many people chatting, and what is chatting? Is that many people, or do you have a
Well,
bunch of
there's no threading
listeners?
in group chats, remember? So
I know,
that's the first disadvantage of not doing it within the team.
but Daryl, we have a lot of people who think, you know, let's let's create a team for the whole organization. That
Hmm.
won't be too busy and chatty. So why not have a group chat of 100 people? That seems small.
Yeah, yeah, I know. I know. And the comment has been made that it is early days. So whenever I
Hmm.
put the call out, I'm really interested to hear from organisations who are doing all org
Yep,
teams and tell me, is everyone in there and engaging, or is it just the IT pros and just some of the people
I would bet
that are
that's the
used to
case.
that kind of mode of chatting? Um, it's okay. It's good to have the capacity there if you need it, but I encourage you to have smaller chats with less people in it, just for
Get the job
sanity's
done.
sake.
And this is what I was talking about in my session in DC. It's like I want to get the job done. I don't want to follow, all of this. Have a chat with 100 people or even
Mm,
20. I just want to get the job done. So I'm probably going to talk to like three, most at most, to just get the job done, whatever it is. But sometimes it's funny, and we'll keep moving. But one thing
mm.
the first thing I thought about when I saw this announcement was, I wonder if this is what they used when Azure went down and killed everything the other day. Um, were they able to get on Teams, or was it because I heard there was let's say a heavily attended phone call by a lot of people And it was like, this would be
Right.
one of those features that would be nice for that, I guess.
Maybe.
But I
Yeah.
don't know.
Look, I think the capacity to, in terms of IM group chat, and then the meetings that you create, there's still
Yeah,
differences here. It does happen in a
there
different
is.
space.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I wasn't trying to imply that there is. It's the same as meetings. I'm just saying,
Yeah.
having maybe worldwide all of your engineers in one place to
Mm-hmm.
solve a problem or something. I don't know. So
Yep.
anyway,
On the fly.
yep.
Well, this one, again, we're waiting for a bit more information, but
Yeah.
Teams sharing file links with permissions. Now, when you go to share something within Teams, you had two experiences. Did you want to share a Teams link or a Sharepoint link? But you
Hmm.
didn't really have that ability to change the permissions at that point, and that's what's been
Okay.
brought here. Good to
Yep.
hear too that it's, of course, we expect it to be consistent. It's going to be
Yeah.
those same choices that we get across OneDrive and across SharePoint document libraries when we share a document from Office, for
Mhm.
example. It's the
Right.
same dialog box. And there
And
was
we love
something else about this
consistency.
too. Say it again.
We
Oh,
love
the other thing
consistency.
about it was when you paste it in there. Like you take that shared link and you
Yeah.
paste it into a chat, it's
Converts it.
going to pick up the name of the file, and I think I'd seen this word somewhere before. It's called a chiclet object.
Chiclet.
That is the name given to. It's not a
The
preview of
little.
the document, but it's that
Nope.
that little file header thingo to say
Which is the
this is a
same thing
word.
you get when you upload a file and start making comments, right? Or
Yes.
or you select to say announce it into the channel. It will then put that in the thread.
Mm.
So you're going to get the same experience, which is great, I guess. The the question I have is, will there be a difference for a file that's in the channel or a file that's just been shared with the channel?
Hmm.
Um, because I might see in the thread whenever I see that chiclet, I go, oh, that file's in the library, right? For this channel, it's in the
Hmm.
folder. So I can easily just go to files and see it. But now I'm going to see files in the thread that are not there.
Yep.
So is there going to be some way to figure out, hey, that's not going to be there?
Yeah.
It's going to be somewhere else. And it could be deleted afterwards, right? Or it could be, you really have no control over that file like you do in a channel because you have access to that
It's not
SharePoint
your file.
library.
Mm.
Right. So I'm sharing it. That's great, but it could be removed by someone else.
Yep.
I don't know. So
Yeah.
it'll be
Good point
interesting, I
though.
think.
Because the experience up until now has been those chiclets are for, our files and our team. Be good to know when we change and we're going out of that environment that we're going to something else. And is that file loading within the team, or is it going to load in a
Hmm.
separate tab if it's
Right.
outside of our team?
Right.
Yet to see. Oh, Phil's making jokes about chicken burgers and chiclets. But Sandy,
I haven't been
Sandy
checking
said
the
she
chat. I
hasn't seen it
forgot the
before.
chat. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Oh, man, I need
Uh,
to catch up.
good call. All right. Yeah. Moving on. We have music on hold for Microsoft Teams if you're using it for calls. It's just a brief comment here that great to see it. It's only for those who are calling in from a PSTN, the public switch telephone
Mhm.
network. It's not for calls between team to team or team to Skype. That's considered an internal call, and why would you play hold music for that? I don't know. Maybe
Yeah.
internal comms would like that to use it.
Yeah.
Have you taken your flu shots this year?
Nice.
But the hold music, yep, it's
That
available or going to be
that's what
available.
that was going to be my question is, do you get to change the whole music? Because, it would
Mm,
be kind of cool to have, internal promotion for your organization. I don't know.
yeah.
But that would be interesting to see what kind of music is it.
Well, additional
Um,
information doesn't give a
it
lot.
doesn't give
Just
you
to
any.
say that
No.
here's what you get with the Office 365 phone system.
Right.
And one of those things that I think further down it says about hold music, and then
It
it's
does,
coming,
but it
but it
doesn't.
doesn't say what. I've got
Right.
a buddy who's working quite closely in that area, and he might be able to tell us if you can change up the hold music. I'm sure that provision will be made, if not now, later on. But this is the one that I'm excited about.
Okay.
Yes, the one I'm
System
excited
audio.
about. And I pondered this morning just before the show, and
Ponder.
half an hour before the show. I was thinking, to everyone who has gone on an online meeting and you've got this beautiful video that's part of your PowerPoint, or you're trying to show it off to the side, and we know the story. They're in that online meeting, they click play, and no one can hear that audio.
Nobody can hear it.
Yeah. And then to everyone who quickly then tries to do the workaround and cranks up the volume on their laptop and then puts the microphone down to their, can you hear that? Can you hear that? Yeah, can you?
I don't know that I've ever gone that far, but yes,
I've seen that. The other thing I've seen is, let's take that link, let's put it into the chat. Okay, now everyone got it loaded.
Everyone click it.
On the count of 3. You too, Bob, and everyone in the room. Make sure this plays and turn it up. And yep, 1, 2, play. But everyone, the timing is never right, and then you get all the feedback. Yeah. Anyway, what is this feature? This feature is that when I play something on my desktop like I am now, and it's got audio, then Microsoft Teams is going to pick that up, and it's going to present it to everyone on the online meeting. Hooray! We're actually getting another depth to our presentations, and we can now play multimedia in its fullest experience. Yay! We've got some good activity there in the chat room about that. Is this a big deal to you, Daniel?
Not a huge deal. It is a deal, but it's not a big deal. I don't do a lot of presentations where I'm showing video, but I do some. So this is a deal. Yep. It's something. It's just not a big something for me.
The workaround in a Skype for Business online meeting was you had to embed your video into the PowerPoint, and then it had to be the uploaded version of the PowerPoint that could be played at the end user's experience.
Whenever they want.
The downside to that was videos, of course, are large files, and it takes a while for everyone to get that localized experience to come down. Meanwhile. Big deal, but excited about that. Looking forward to seeing it come, and I might even do something of a video and a watch party about it. Yay!
Yep.
All right, keep it moving along.
Last one, sir.
It is the last one.
Suggested replies in Outlook for Android. Do you have an Android phone?
I have an iPhone.
I do too. So we've had this, but this is suggested replies when you get an email and it's something like it notices that there's a question in there. It's using AI. Hey, do you want to do X or whatever? It's going to give you suggested replies like yes, thanks, no, thank you, whatever. And this really is going to be similar to what you have in LinkedIn, I believe. So in LinkedIn, when you get a message from someone, and I get a lot of messages, some from recruiters, and it's totally out of the blue. I don't know who you are, but hey, you want this job? And I'm like, no, thank you. Please don't contact me ever again. So having suggested replies where you click it.
That's a suggested reply?
No, it's just no, thank you. I'm not interested. But that's what that means to me.
Yeah.
The one thing I'd like to see is sometimes when you click that in AI, I don't know if it works in LinkedIn or not, or if it's going to work this way here, is that when you click on it, it sends it. It's like, I don't want you to send it immediately. I would rather say something else along with it rather than having to send 2 messages or whatever. So we'll see how that's implemented. But the more we can get to where we're not having to type out the same things over and over, it'd be great. So
I've seen this come into Gmail and into a couple of other email products, but that one in particular, and I get it. AI is helping us to respond quickly with something that we would just normally use, but I'm also quite apprehensive of standard replies being offered and people getting into that habit of just choosing them. That our communication is going to become quite flat.
It's already that way, my friend. You're a little old, and I am too. But the younger generations are already doing that. They, and this, they chat with emojis and they chat with abbreviations and everything. It is all. It's already there. This is not something new. This is just catching up. The time has already passed, and us wanting to have these meaningful conversations. When if you haven't, I've received email replies with just an emoji, and I'm not talking about just smiles, like some sort of sentence and emoji, and you're like, okay, I don't know what was just said. I got to go figure this out.
Like Phil's jelly bean one there as he's doing the wink. Thank you, Phil.
Right. Yeah. So anyway.
Yeah. Look, I know we're at time. There was one other thing that I've just about got the video ready to publish. It's not a message in the message center, but the integration between Planner and To Do has arrived. I think that was actually last week, wasn't it? It was in the message center last week. Yeah. So if you are a org or a team that uses Planner and you also use To Do to manage your personal tasks, then you'll see a new smart list called Assigned to Me, which will bring all your Assigned to Me tasks together. There are a couple of bugs there that I'll share in the video. Yeah, I know. Look, one of the things I was hoping to be able to do was add a task to my day, the My Day list from Planner. You can do that, but something unusual happens when you drag those tasks into different orders. So keep an eye out for that video. Hopefully get that out today, and I'll link that up into the bottom right, top right corner of our live stream. Well, next week we will be, Daniel will be at Sharepoint conference, as will a couple of other friends as well.
Yep.
If you are there yourselves, then do walk up and say hi, and get into a conversation with us, because we like to meet people and hear your stories.
That's right.
Love to share them, and
and I should have my kit with me, hopefully. So if I don't, we can just do it on my phone. But I'll have my mic for my phone. So I'd love to interview as many people as possible, just to a quick asking questions about what's going on with them in Microsoft 365 world. So please, if you see me or any other of the Regarding 365 folks, please give us a shout. I'd love to talk to you.
Definitely. All right, so keep an eye out for that video. I think I've got to adjust the time on the live stream event, because we might be doing it at a slightly different time. Do we have a time and a
No, so we'll talk about that. We'll announce it this week.
All right. Well, thanks everyone for joining in. Phil, Sandy, Steve, Christine Green, and a few others further up, and everyone else who didn't chat. Everyone else who is watching this later on. Thanks for joining us. Catch you again soon.